Hello students, welcome to program. In the previous video, we have discussed about the kingdom Monera. In this video, we will be discussing about the kingdom Protista, which is part of the main heading biological classification. So what is the position of Protista students in the five kingdom classification? It lies between the Monera on the left hand side, which is the group of prokaryotes, and on the right hand side it has the kingdoms fungi, plantae, and animae. So this is the position of Protista on the five kingdom classification system. On the left hand side it is having the group of prokaryotes, and on the right hand side the uh, groups of the eukaryotes. So we can easily say that it is a connecting link between the unicellular prokaryotes and the advanced eukaryotes. So let us see the few general characteristics of Protista. It includes all unicellular eukaryotes. So this group consists of all the unicellular eukaryotes. It is the connecting link between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Just now I said on the left hand side, if you remember the system of classification, on the left hand side we have the Monera, and on the right hand side we have fungi, plantae, and animae. So it is the connecting link between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. It is the assumed ancestor of all eukaryotic kingdoms. See students, suppose this is kingdom Monera, consisting of all the prokaryotes. From here, with the advancement, we can say that Protista has developed. The protists, we can easily say that they have developed from the eukaryotes with the advancement. What is the advancement? We can say the most prominent one is development of enclosed cell organelles, prominent cell organelles. So from Monera, we can say that Protista has evolved. Protistans are more advanced than Monera, a bit more advanced than Monera. Then from Protista, we can see that three other groups have emerged. What are the three groups we have? We have fungi, we have plantae, and we have animalia. All right. So from this arrangement, we can say that the protists are the assumed ancestors of all these three kingdoms. Okay. Next, it has defined nucleus. This is a feature of the eukaryotic cell. So it has defined nucleus. Just like it has other well-defined cell organelles, it also has a defined nucleus. Next point, membrane-bound organelles. That is what I was saying just now. The difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotic cell is that in prokaryotic cell, defined cell organelles or membrane-bound cell organelles are absent. Whereas in eukaryotic cell, there is presence of prominent membrane-bound cell organelles. 80S ribosomes. Now, in the prokaryotes, in the Monera, if you remember when I discussed, Monera has 70S ribosome. Why? Because they are prokaryotes. But from the group Protista to the Animalia, they will all have 80S ribosome, which is a feature of eukaryotic cell. Next, the boundary of this kingdom is not well defined. There is so much diversity observed in the characteristics of different members, we can easily say that there is no specific boundary to this kingdom. Like, for example, the characteristics of amoeba are quite different from that of a euglena. So there is so much diversity observed in the members that we can say that the boundary of this kingdom is not well defined. Next, exhibits both sexual and asexual reproduction. So the members of Protista, they exhibit both sexual and asexual reproduction. Both zygotic and gametic meiosis can be observed. So this meiosis division is observed both in zygote and gametes. Diverse mode of nutrition is exhibited. So the members, just like I said, that they have extreme diversity. So the modes of nutrition is also diverse. Some may be phototroph, some may be autotroph, some may be mixotrophs. So a lot of diversity is observed in the characteristics of Protista. Now students, can you identify the example of the protists that the picture of the protist that I've shown over here, this one? Can you tell me what it is? It is an amoeba. You must be familiar with the picture. We have seen it so much since our junior classes. It is amoeba. This one over here is an example of another protist, that is euglena. Next, this one over here. What will be the name of this one? A round shaped protista with two flagella, Chlamydomonas. And another one I've shown over here, this is slipper shaped protista, very popular, Paramecium. So these are the few protists. Now another thing I'd like to say about the kingdom Protista is that the protists, uh, they have a very, I mean, the diversity is so much and the boundaries of the kingdom is also not defined. These 2 points I have discussed. Relating to that only, a protist can be an algae for some biologists, and it can be protists for some other biologists. So there is still a difference in the opinion as to the members of the groups as to which one they should be placed. There is enough ambiguity observed among the schools of thoughts. So, for example, Chlamydomonas. It, according to R.H. Whitaker, it's a protist. But according to some other scientists, say for example Robert Brown, who told it that who classified certain species of Chlamydomonas as uh, algae. So there is immense difference in opinion among the scientists also as to which members belong to Protista and which members belong to algae. Next, we have a classification of Protista. Now, individual classification of the groups, individual description of the groups, I'll be giving it in a separate video. But over here, let us just give a brief introduction about the classification of Protista. So, the Protista, kingdom Protista, can be classified into three groups: autotrophic or photosynthetic organisms, consumer decomposer organisms, and the protozoans. So as you can see from the name itself, autotrophic means the ones which can make their own food. So we can go back to this diagram of us that I've discussed previously. Here you can see that kingdom Protista gave rise to three further kingdoms, is the assumed ancestor of fungi, plantae and animalia. So going back to this chart, you can see we have a distinction: autotrophic, consumer decomposers, or we can say that they are saprophytes or a bit of parasite. And then we have the protozoans, which are usually heterotrophs. So we can easily say that this group gave rise to the plantae. This group gave rise to the fungi, and this group gave rise to animalia. Animalia. Okay. So this classification again you can I'll refer to it in the next lecture. So for today, just know the main heads of classification that we will be doing, and this classification is on the basis of on the basis of modes of nutrition. Whenever students remember, whenever there is a classification, there will be a basis for it. You are dividing. Obviously, when you are dividing, there should be a basis for it. No? So, on the basis of modes of nutrition, we have classified Protista into these three groups. So, the first group, that is the autotrophic one, includes the dinoflagellates, the diatoms, and the euglenoids. And the next one, the consumer decomposers, include the slime molds. Molds. That also gives a hint that this might be the ancestors of the group fungus. So under slime molds, we have cellular slime molds and acellular slime molds, cellular slime molds and acellular slime molds. Okay, these two I'll be discussing in the next lecture in details. And next we have protozoans, under which we have the groups zooflagellates, sarcodimes, sporozoans, and ciliates. So that's all for today, students. And let's take a question to test your understanding. Who were assumed to be the precursors of kingdom fungi? Is it the slime molds? Is it the zooflagellates? Is it the diatoms? Or is it the euglenoids? So molds, just now I said, molds gives us a hint that the slime molds or the consumer decomposer group, the middle one, which was there, it could be a possible ancestor of the group fungi. So our answer will be this one, slime molds. All right. So that's all for today, students. Hope you've enjoyed the lecture, and I'll be soon putting up the rest of the portions. Please watch the series to understand better on the chapter Protista, and please revise your concepts and follow Turun on different social media handles. So, thank you.